One more win and the division is theirs.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, here we go, everybody. Special Sunday edition of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Matt Dery with you on a Sunday, December 17th into Monday, December 18th. It's a pseudo post-game pod after last night's impressive, astounding, dominating, exhilarating 42-17 win over the Denver Broncos at Ford Field, packed house. Saturday night game, Kevin Harlan on the microphone, and the Lions cruised. And we got to get into it. I wanted to make sure that we had a show over the weekend, get everybody that's heading to work on Monday morning a fresh episode of Locked On Lions. We thank you for following us and of course, on Dery Speaks on Twitter and Matt Dery Facebook fan page. And, of course, we thank you for listening and watching wherever you get your podcasts, including for free on our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. On the show today, I'll start with the head coach, Dan Campbell. I want to get into something that I loved. Two things that I love that Dan Campbell did, both during the game and in the post game yesterday. We'll get into that coming up momentarily as well. Playoff picture and division picture. We will clear that up for you as well. Lions had a really good performance again from Ifeatu Melifonwu. They found a gem in the third-year cornerback / safety. And we got the PFF grades. We might as well give you those today and be the first to do so. Top 5 and bottom 5 Lion performers on offense and defense from Saturday night's win over the Broncos. Shout out to our guy, Scotty, and the folks at Questionable Tees for our One Pride 313 shirt today. We always love getting gear from our friends at Questionable Tees. All right. First and foremost, impressive performance Saturday night from the Lions. Just what the doctor ordered. Just what the team needed. They needed a laugher. They needed the offense to get back in a rhythm. Defense, yes, future head coach Aaron Glenn dialed up some blitzes. They were sending 6 guys, 7 guys at Russell Wilson, and it worked. And I liked the scheme. I liked the aggressiveness. And the Lions got back to playing physical football for 60 minutes, aggressive, going after people. There was an edge to the team. And the offensive line getting Frank Ragnow back. And how about this? Frank Ragnow's brother on social media was saying that Frank came back within a week and a half from meniscus surgery. That's crazy. Regardless of whether that's true or not, to get your offensive line back and intact with Decker, with Jackson, with Ragnow, with Glasgow, with Sewell, and I thought Penei Sewell had a really good game, is just so important. All right. I watched the Browns and Bears today. Touchdown Bears. Bears choked, of course. The Bearsing always happens. They were up 17-3. Nice job. Let me put the microphone down for a second. Nice work by the NFC North this weekend. Can we do an NFC North recap? The Packers lost at home to Tampa Bay. Okay. The Vikings blow a 14-point lead to the Bengals without Joe Burrow. And the Bears today playing 910-year-old Joe Flacco, who's throwing interceptions all over the field. The Bears blow a 17-3 lead. No, it was 17-7. The Bears blew a 17-7 lead today and lost to the Browns. Darnell Mooney had a Hail Mary. He was sitting on the ground, right in his hands off a tip, and dropped it. Just epic. But what was I saying? So the Lions were aggressive. They were good. Everything worked out Saturday night, and it was playing that kind of style of football that is what won them so many games. Folks, the Lions have won 10 football games. 10 football games. Oh, what I was saying was about the offensive line. The Browns today were without 4 of their 5 starters on the offensive line because Bitonio got hurt. And the Bears were just destroying Flacco. Montez Sweat had 3 sacks. He got 13, by the way, in the year. But it just went, it goes to show that when you're playing with a makeshift offensive line, it's tough to survive. Now, the Browns got away with one today. They came back and won, but it was a struggle all day to keep Flacco upright. The Lions' offensive line, when it's right, and you got those 5 starters in there, they're as good an offensive line as there is in the game. So that was a key I thought, to last night's win. Let me start with something with Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell was coaching against his mentor, his good friend, Sean Payton. And at the end of that game last night, the Lions led 35-17. All right. And instead of kicking a field goal late or taking a knee or just running the ball with 2:21 to go on a fourth down, Lions went for it and threw the football with Jared Goff hitting Sam LaPorta on a 10-yard touchdown pass to make the score 42-17. Sean Payton was asked about it after the game and said, had no problem with it. It's football. You know, it's football. And I loved it. I loved it. 5 touchdown passes for Jared Goff and Dan Campbell running it up a little bit. Why not? You got a great crowd on hand. Stick it to them. No more Mr. Nice Guy. It's the end of the year. The Lions have been through, I'm not saying they've been through hell the last 4 or 5 weeks, but it's been frustrating. And they let off a little steam on Denver. And they knew they could make that play. They knew that they could block. They knew they could find LaPorta open. And that's exactly what they did. Goff hit him to put the game away from 10 yards out. 3 touchdown passes, 3 from Jared Goff to Sam LaPorta, and a 5 touchdown day for Goff with no interceptions and only sacked twice. Passer rating of 134.6. That is what I'm talking about. But what I loved was Dan Campbell stepped on some necks yesterday. Yeah, we'll just run. Yeah, we'll just kick a field goal. It'll be nice. No. He knew his team could block that play. He knew he had faith in Ben Johnson to call that play and for Jared Goff to hit LaPorta, who is a star. And then after the game last night, Dan Campbell kind of barked a little bit at some of the haters from the draft. And I'll be the first to admit, when the Lions took a running back and Jahmyr Gibbs at 12, I was like, what are they doing? When they took Sam LaPorta over a few other tight ends that I liked, I certainly questioned it. Who looks right now? Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell do. Jahmyr Gibbs is electric, and Sam LaPorta is probably a top 3, top 4 tight end in the entire NFL, and he's a rookie. That's good drafting. All right. I can nitpick and talk about Broderick Martin or 3rd round here or 5th round there. No. What Brad Holmes has done to build this roster through the draft and to grab guys like Penei Sewell and Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs this year, Aleem McNeil in the early rounds, Aiden Hutchinson. Okay. He could have drafted Thibodeau, and look, Thibodeau's having a really good year this year. Probably has double the sacks that Hutch has, but Aiden Hutchinson is a part of the fabric of this team. All right. And the Lions have won 10 football games, ladies and gentlemen, 10. And last night they throttled Sean Payton. I love seeing Sean Payton lose. He's on the sidelines barking at Russell Wilson and embarrassing him. Russell Wilson should have said, sit down. Get out of my face. Sean Payton did the media tour last year when he was out of football. Remember? He was on Fox. He was on all the podcasts. He was great guy. Now he's right back to being a red ass. Hold this L, Sean. Hold it. Caress it. Because your mentee ran it up on your ass. I loved it. And I love that Dan Campbell after the game kind of shouted out, barked back, clapped back, if you want to say, at the haters on the draft, defending his general manager. They've done well. They're 10-4. If you would have told me at the start of the year with 3 games to go, this team would be 10-4 and with a chance here this week. The Rams somehow lose to the Commanders this afternoon. I'm taping right now on a Sunday afternoon with 3 weeks to go. If I would have told you the Lions could clinch a playoff spot in week 15 with a Rams loss, you would have told me, Lions in the playoffs by week 15. Well, it might happen. Could happen tomorrow night if the Eagles beat the Seahawks. By the way, the Eagles have a new defensive coordinator. Matt Patricia. Well, the Eagles season's over. I might come out of gambling retirement to bet against the Eagles in the playoffs with Matt Patricia as their defensive coordinator. Holy smokes. Talk about panic in Philly. Sean Desai out. Matt Patricia in. What does he have on these coaches? Unbelievable. All right, coming up next, PFF grades, more on the game. Loved what was going on defensively with a couple of guys, and I liked what Aaron Glenn, future head coach Aaron Glenn, did. First, we want to tell you about LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for small business, for your small business, you want to have as many top-tier candidates as possible to interview, right? Well, that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just another job board. They got a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire. I've hired people off of LinkedIn Jobs, at least interviewed them off of LinkedIn Jobs. You'll see if you go to LinkedIn and check out Matt Dery, you'll see I got the purple hashtag hiring frame there as well. Helps people know that we're looking for people where I work, which is in the financial industry at Financial Architects during the day. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats, might not have the time or resource to hire. Not with LinkedIn. They can help you out. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Little Sunday afternoon sort of pseudo post-game pod. Lions over the Broncos on Saturday night, 42-17. Jared Goff, unbelievable rhythm, had time to throw, the quick stuff over the middle, St. Brown getting free, Gibbs out of the backfield, Sam LaPorta, 24 out of 34 for Goff, 278, 5 touchdowns, passer rating of 134.6. Amon-Ra back at it, doing his thing, 7 catches for $112. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries for 100 yards, averaged 9.1 yards a carry. Should be getting more than 11. David Montgomery, 17 carries, 85 yards, 5 yards a carry. What did we say all last week about keys to the game? Denver's run defense is Piston-esque. It's terrible. They don't stop anybody. Lions ran for $185, and the Lions run defense, I thought anchored by Josh Paschal. I thought Josh Paschal played really well. I held the Broncos to 83 yards rushing. So I thought that was really, really good. LaPorta, 5 catches, 56 yards. We mentioned before the 3 touchdowns. Jamison Williams caught 4 passes. How about that? 7 targets for Jamo. Good. Find him. Throw him the football. They had a really nice play on that sideline one. The one that went up for grabs. It was beautiful. Melifonwu coming in and forcing a fumble. The big man rumbling, Isaiah Buggs. Gaines Media poster boy, Alex Anzalone, 12 tackles. Melifonwu with 6 tackles, a sack, a TFL, 2 passes defended, and 2 quarterback hits. That's the best game a Lions safety has played maybe since, week 18, Kirby Joseph last year. I mean, Ife Melifonwu all of a sudden is coming on. He's playing very, very well, and it's been needed. Tracy Walker struggled the last few weeks and got benched. We know Jerry Jacobs hasn't played all that well and then injured his hamstring this past week. Kirby Joseph's been okay, but they've really missed Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the start of the year. That was the big pickup. That was going to be the guy you put on the back end that was going to really, really help out. And to the Lions coaching staff's credit, over the last 2 weeks, maybe he's been practicing well. Maybe he's just healthy and ready to roll. They've given Ifeatu Melifonwu, pride of Syracuse University, an opportunity, and he's made the most of it. And to credit future head coach Aaron Glenn, the D coordinator, sending Melifonwu in on that blitz, hitting Russell Wilson, forcing the fumble. It's just nice to see the defense flying around, forcing turnovers, winning the turnover battle yesterday. A couple of sacks, the one from Melifonwu, and then the other one from Paschal. Like I said, I thought Josh Paschal played a really good game. And this was a game that was needed. And now the Lions, if they win next week in Minnesota, will win the division for the first time since 1993. And for the first time since the division was even called the NFC North. They've never won the North since all the realignment. Never. And the Vikings blew a golden opportunity to secure a playoff spot and to move up in the standings with their game Saturday against the Bengals. Gagged away a 14-point lead. Green Bay, like I said, lost today. They're going to be out of the playoffs. They were eliminated. It's the division's terrible. The Bears choked, but I don't care about the rest of the teams, whether they're good, bad, whatever. The Lions next week, go into Minnesota and end this thing to win the division. All right, for the first time since 1993 has meaning. Plus, it was a goal that this team set at the start of the year. We think we can win the division. Remember, during the year, Minnesota's getting hot. They've won 5 in a row. The Vikings are coming. Ooh. Green Bay starts getting a little bit hot. Beats the Lions on Thanksgiving. Oh, Lions are going to choke. Packers are on the come. Here we go. Jordan Love. Woo. Packers have lost 2 in a row. Lions, Saturday night with a statement win. Crowd was crazy. Like I said, O-line, D-line, disruptive. O-line, moving bodies. D-line, disruptive. Goff, I don't want to hear any more calls for Hendon Hooker or the soon-to-be retired, by the way, Teddy Bridgewater. This is still Jared Goff's team. And when given the right weapons around him, when given time to throw, he's as good as any quarterback in the NFC. All right? I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not calling him Joe Montana, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Not even Dak Prescott this year. But watch the quarterback play in this conference. Brock Purdy is one of the best quarterbacks. Last year, people were saying he sucked. Dak's had a good year. Jalen Hurts, a little iffy right now. Hasn't played all that well. Quarterbacks in this division. Mullins, Fields, Love, not great. Anybody watch Desmond Ridder today throw a pick in the red zone yet again as the Falcons lost yet again? All right, quarterback play in this conference blows. It's bad. Jared Goff is one of the better ones. And yes, he struggled a little bit the last few weeks. Yes, he's turned the ball over way too much. But I'll take him over Saints starting quarterback, the Falcons, the Bucks, the Packers, the Bears, the Giants, the Commanders, the Cardinals. I'll keep going. And last night it was great to watch him just zipping the football. And only sacked twice. You know, give the Bears credit from a couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago. They bothered Goff, and it was not the great conditions. But this week, Jared Goff has a chance to do something that no Lions quarterback has done in 30 years. Win the division. So I'm excited for Sunday against Minnesota. And I think fans should be excited. And fans should like that the Lions seem to be playing with that edge again. Dan Campbell talked about it. We've been called out. We're hearing the noise. We know what's being said about us. And they secured the football. They played physical. They knew they could run on Denver, so they did. 28 carries, 185. That's how it's done. That's how you wear teams down in this league like that. And, Russell Wilson, passer rating 88.4, just that one touchdown, sacked a couple of times. I loved it. I love what I saw. How about Michael Badgley making all 6 of his extra points? Riley Patterson misses 2 extra points the last 3 weeks and is immediately replaced by Michael Badgley. There is something about Brad Holmes with kickers. He can't sit still with kickers. And it sounds like Badgley, at least for right now, has also outkicked Patterson in practice. So for now, the money badger is your kicker. Only Brad Holmes. He loves musical chairs in the kicking game. All right, PFF grades. Let's get into that. We'll do that coming up next as we'll tell you about the top 5 and bottom 5 Lion performers from this past week. From PFF, it is Sunday. We got late games. We got the Sunday night game tonight with the Ravens and Jaguars. We got Monday Night Football tomorrow. FanDuel. All right. NFL is heating up here. End of the year. Get in on the action with FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets. That's $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, no better time to get on the action than right now. And this is not just for NFL. You can bet on hockey, NBA, whatever you want at FanDuel. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and much, much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon get going here with your NFL bets, all the bowl games, whatever you want. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. Also forgot with FanDuel, you can bet on college basketball. I was at Indiana, Kansas yesterday at Assembly Hall in Bloomington. My son goes there. And we went to the game. And I got to tell you something. I know people around here love college football. I know Michigan's playing for the national championship. I get that. And I know college hoops around here is nothing special. My God, what an environment at Assembly yesterday. I mean, the roof was coming off that place. And this is a very middling IU basketball team. It was just so much fun. Oh, it was awesome. All right, let's get you. First of all, let me just talk about Ife Melifonwu one more time. Keep him out there. Find a way to have him on the field, even when Chauncey Gardner-Johnson comes back, because he's played very well. All right, top 5, bottom 5 Lion performers from Pro Football Focus from yesterday's win over the Broncos, last night's win, 42-17. By the way, how awesome was that having Kevin Harlan on the call last night with Trent Green? If you watched all 3 of those games yesterday, you had Chris Rhodes in the early game. You had Rich Eisen on the second game, and then you had Kevin Harlan. Thank God we got Kevin Harlan. Gosh, that was like superior broadcasting. All right, top 5 offensive grades. Well, you know what happens. Last week, St. Brown and Jared Goff were like dead last. This week, they're both in the top 5. Amon-Ra, 90.1 grade, tops on the team. Jahmyr Gibbs comes in second with an 88.8 grade. He played great. Penei Sewell, like I said before, really had a good game. The right tackle, 85.9. Jared Goff, 83.8. And Graham Glasgow, 82.8. Those are your top 5 offensive performers from last night's win. Bottom 5, Brock Wright, 33.3. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 56.3. Khalif Raymond, 64.6. Taylor Decker, 64.9, which, by the way, is not a terrible grade. And David Montgomery, 67.6. Those are your bottom 5 offensive performers, according to Pro Football Focus. On defense, I can give you 10 guesses on who the top defensive player was yesterday. You'll never get it. Kindle Vildor, cornerback, 82.7. All right. Cam Sutton, 79.7. Really good game playing against his, it's not his brother, but his brother in name, Cortland Sutton. Levi Onwuzurike, 73.6. All right, big fella. How about that? 14 snaps, not bad. Aiden Hutchinson, 72.6. Kirby Joseph, 72.2. Surprised Melifonwu's grade was only 65.5 because I thought he played really, really well. Bottom 5 defenders. Benito Jones, 30.3. Jalen Reeves-Maben, 32.3. Derek Barnes, 40.1. Bruce Irvin, 43.3. Alex Anzalone, 50.1. Those are your top 5 and bottom 5 Lion performers from last night's 42-17 win over the Denver Broncos. Anytime you can beat Sean Payton, I'll take it. I love it. He's just such a squirrel on the sideline sometimes. Always complaining. Like, Teddy Bruschi said it this morning on NFL Game Day. He's like, Russell Wilson needs to like shout back at him when he's like getting in his face on the sidelines. It's almost like Peyton just, when the Broncos do well, it's almost like Peyton doesn't say a word about Russell Wilson or show any love. And then when it all goes to crap, you blame it on the quarterback. Is Russell Wilson the Russell Wilson of 10 years ago? No. But just embarrassing your quarterback on the sidelines and yelling at him like that, I thought was lame. And that Bronco team is not that good. All right. But the Lions took care of business. They needed a laugher. They needed a route, and they got it. And now with 3 games to play at Minnesota this Sunday, next Saturday against the Cowboys in primetime. By the way, Lions 4-0 in night games this year. 4-0. KC, Green Bay, Vegas, Denver. All dubs. And then rounding out the season against the Vikings. And I was talking to my buddy Michael Spath today on text, and he's a everydayer. Appreciate Spath. And he said, let's take care of the Vikings and get them out of the playoffs, because the last thing you want to see is having to play Minnesota 3 times in 4 weeks. I just don't think Minnesota is that good. I don't want to see Stafford. I don't want to see Geno Smith. But let's not put the cart before the horse. Right now, what we need is, if the Rams lose today, or if the Eagles beat the Seahawks, Lions clinch a playoff spot, and then winning the division next week in Minnesota would be sweet. It's the goal. Imagine if this team won next week and they were 11-4. I think, what did I say? I think I said 11-6 at the start of the year. I don't remember my predictions, but they're right there. They're right there. And they desperately last night, needed that kind of win. Needed it. Got it. And you, the fans, were great. The crowd was unbelievable. I know my boy Turner Batdorf was hitting me up on Twitter at Dery Speaks. Like, Lion fans do deserve this. That was a lot of fun last night. All right, that'll do it for Locked On Lions for a special Sunday edition. We're back again all week. Fresh show tomorrow. Happy for you, Lion fans. Just awesome. Talk to you tomorrow.